25 years old, but when I'm outside, I'm 21 years old.
I was here October 9, 2015, 2 years ago.
I have been in jail for almost 2 years.
Actually, I am already 3 years here.
I was here for almost 9 years. This coming June 19, it was year 2009, around 5 in the afternoon, 5 p.m.
I've been here for 2 years and 4 months. I don't know when I'll be released.
Inmates here are just a detainee. We are not yet convicted because we are not yet what do you call that one? It was not yet proven that we really did that certain criminal case. Our trial is ongoing, so we are just waiting for the final diction of the judges.
When I visit the jail, I saw it's very crowded. I mean, I've never seen so many people in a very tight, space. And so I talked to some inmates, how long they've been there and so on. But I was shocked actually when I got the answer. Like several inmates says, I've been here 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. But they are waiting. They're actually presumed innocent. They're waiting for their court hearing. Justice system is very slow. So 8, 9 years. So I was like, there must be something need to be done.
So they're like being sentenced already. If you stay in a congested jail with the worst living condition you can imagine, the sanitation is just conducive to you becoming sick. And they have to do that for 9 years, 10 years without finishing their trial because of the lack of courts. All they did the whole day was just to look at each other. Nothing. They did nothing at all.
It's just like eat, sleep, count.
It was boring, and we miss our families outside.
There's worst thing in life, you do nothing with it, basically. There's worst thing, do nothing. The capacity was designed to accommodate 500 to 600, but right now there are more than 3,500 inmates.
You can see that if they get convicted, the system will work against them unless we have a positive program to reverse the process. The fact alone that you go through a very long trial and you get detained in a detention cell for prisoners awaiting trial, that's also traumatic. That's why we're doing everything in our way, in the justice system, in the judicial system that I had, to make sure that the trials are shortened.
And I remember I took my computer, I went to Starbucks, and I got my Americano, and I started. And I just studied. I said, I will read it, and I read, some program in the US, and I come up with the idea of the college education behind the bars. And the moment I thought about it, and I write, I was so excited. I write down first draft. I sent to my mom. My mom is a professor. I said, Mom, look at this first draft. And I said, this is it. We're going to do this in Davao City Jail.
Well, the drug problem here in the Philippines, I never thought it was that big. It's a huge problem. Like they say, if you look at the jail of a nation, you will see the society that it's in. And 80% of the jail population are drug offenders.
So we want to help the president in a different way. We know the problem. We want to be at something solution, education.
Well, all the studies in the world show that higher levels of educational achievement are strongly correlated with employability as a general principle, meaning the more educated your population, the higher their status in life, the higher their income, the higher their employability. So higher education per se, any investment on higher education, is good not only to the individual but to the nation. Now, it becomes more important if you give higher education to disadvantaged groups like people behind bars. Because aside from making them more productive citizens, you also increase their self-esteem. You make them believe that there is hope in their lives, and you make them believe that change is going to happen.
So I said, okay, attorney. She said, okay. So we decided, okay, how are we going to do it? I said, this is going to work if the USAP president be part of this.
And when the concept was presented to me, I find it very unique, and I had no second thoughts but agree on the offering, possible offering of the College of Education behind bars in the university.
The jail warden, BGMP, they were excited. So they said yes. I said, okay, can you show me a place where I start? And this building, this area, it was just ready, but it was not like this. It was a cells, inmate cells. So I look at it, and they have cells, and very crowded, and then they have bathroom inside, and the first floor. It was like, you know. So I said, okay, this is it. Give us this. And he said, okay.
The civil engineer, he was caught while doing a pot session. So all his workers were raided together with him, and all of them are in jail. So when they built the building, they already had a team, construction team with them. So it was built, designed by an architect from a good developer, and it was built by an engineer and his team. All of them are inmates, and we paid them.
Well, what was most surprising is when you're there, you're not inside the prison. That's the feeling that you get. I think that is the defining character of education behind bars.
But we made it so that it speaks of the dignity that we want to give the students, because these students, of course, they're inmates and they're there, and you know, they know how society looks at them. But we want to tell them that, hey, you deserve to be treated well, you deserve a second chance, and you still have the dignity if you will help yourself.
When I'm inside here, it's like a new world for me. Yeah.
It's really a big help for us, especially me that I am only a high school graduate, so it's a big opportunity for us.
We have just signed a MOA with the Dr. Alan regarding the implementation of the senior high school here in Davao region. Considering that the Philippines has just passed into law the implementation of senior high school, and there are graduates, there are also inmates who have not gone through the formal senior high school education, and they cannot proceed to go into college.
Actually, the selection of the students was no different from the selection of students under the normal course offering in the university. So all of the SEB students passed the same standard and screening procedures.
First, I did an interview of 300. And then after 300 inmates, 178 inmates took entry exam, USAP entry exam. And then out of 178, only 70 students passed entry exam, and then they qualified. It was exactly what we are looking for, because, you know, as you see, it's we are very tight in terms of the space.
So we take the USAP exam, and I was scared because I don't know if I could pass. But then when the results came, my name was called.
I'm so excited to tell my family, and my father cried, and my sister cried also.
I feel like I won 1 million pesos like that.
It was a blessing for me, ma'am, because I prayed for this. I actually prayed for this. And I am only 19 years old, and I've been detained here.
So our students, when they graduated, they will get diploma from University of Southeast the Philippines doesn't mention anything inside the jail.
Yeah, we are currently offering Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and Bachelor of Science in Computer Technology.
And then jail management is provide security to the buildings, provide the guards, provide IDs, and train the professors about the security, the rules and regulations inside. So before students, everyone work there, we have to go security orientation.
In the case of the USEP teachers, they are not volunteers because their teaching assignment in the city jail is part of their regular teaching load.
Honestly, at first, my impression about this education behind bars was I was a little bit anxious because I have never been in a facility like this, as enclosed like this inside.
I actually interviewed some of them, and their first reaction was they're quite nervous for a start because they were thinking that the situation is that they will be seeing all the inmates in the jail. But over time, in the course of time in their teaching, they told me that it was really very fulfilling. They even find some of their students more courteous, polite than the regular students that we have here. They're more focused. They study their lessons well.
They're serious. They really take it seriously. They ask for references. They ask to be allowed to use Google, for example.
I think there are 10 faculty members, and there is, I think, one volunteer or one of our alumni.
So I told Dr. Hinalaro, the president of USEP, that I wanted to teach. Just like that, I want to teach. Then she asked me, what would you like to teach? Well, I told her I'm an engineer. I completed my engineering in USEP. I can teach mathematics. And since I am a writer, I can also teach language.
In this kind of facility, I see the enthusiasm, the drive to study, even if there are limitations. They cannot bring their books and some of their stuff in their cells. They do not have access to internet, Wi-Fi like our students do when we give them extra work, extra assignment. But they still perform quite well, even some better than the students are in the university. So I appreciate them, and then it's the first time I have a heart for a facility like this.
It's very far from your expectation that you will learn more here because you are focused.
It has been making me more human and more humane because I see their potentials are as good as the potentials of students outside of detention. And they have the same dreams, the same aspirations as any other human beings. And they're as good as any other students outside of detention facility. The only difference is the location of the school. Other than that, I don't see any major difference.
Yeah, I received a report that there was great success in the first 2 semesters of implementation. I was informed that all of them passed, and that even I think 5 of them are in the dean's list. 1 already was released and now enrolled in one of our colleges, in the College of Technology in the main campus.
It's the first program in Asia and Southeastern Asia.
In other countries, they have education without the recovery, or they have the recovery without the education. The distinction of the college education behind bars in the Philippines is that the recovery program is part of the curriculum. So it's a holistic program. So we are deeply involved in their lives in the sense that when you are in a recovery class, everything is confidential. They tell us, and we also share our deepest, darkest secrets to them. And they also share with us their deepest, darkest secrets. And it's like being a sister to them.
We also expect increase not only in the number of enrollees, but also an increase on the number of programs to be offered.
The long-term future is we want if possible, we can expand it because right now we are constrained by space. There are many inmates who want to be part of the program, but due to space constraints, we cannot expand.
Many detainees in other jails are similarly situated with my students. The same potentials, the same hopes, the same dreams, the same aspirations.
Through education, this is the better approach in transforming our offenders in jails. And we wanted to duplicate not only in Davao region, but throughout the Philippines, because this is the first program introduced in the Philippines, College Behind Bars.
We are not doing this just for Davao. It is a framework. It is a program that has to be really launched on a national scale. Okay, the program is not a simple rehabilitation program or a simple alternative learning system for those behind bars. It addresses a complete development of the individual, really providing them hope when they come out from all of this.
Meaning you are helping those who need it the most, and you are helping individuals who definitely will better themselves. So that will mean lower rates of recidivism, a brighter outlook and hope in their lives. And after they get out of the penal system, they become productive citizens.
So sooner or later, they will be they will come out, they will be living in our society. So, and the question is, do you want to have your neighbor as ex-convict, no job, no skills, no nothing, or ex-convict who has gone through rehab and transformation and accepted his guilt and now is trying not to do it again?
But the important message your program says is, every person deserves a second chance. If poor, that person must be specifically, positively helped. Even if guilty, that person must be given the chance to reform himself. So that must be a message that we will keep on repeating to society. Every person makes mistakes. He has to pay for it according to the laws of the land, but in a way that is just, not arbitrarily, not cruelly. And if he indeed has already been convicted or he has confessed, then let's find out if he can be rehabilitated so that we have one less bitter and angry soul, and the family as well. One less bitter and angry family will do a lot to improve Philippine society.
Educating these people, you change entirely the mindset of these people in jail, and you will come up with a better society if you will reintegrate them after their transformation in jails.
Because once you transform a person, you transform a family, you transform a community, you transform a nation.
My advice is for them to never give up, for them to pursue their dreams, because after all, I also believe that every human being is entitled to to commit one big mistake in his or her life. But I also believe that there is always that second chance. So seize the moment.
To pass everything, to graduate, and then I will offer my diploma to my father. Thank you so much, Lord. Thank you, Dr. Alan Maisa, and thank you, Attorney Cariaga.
I dedicate this, what I'm doing right now, for my son and to my wife and to my family.
I think this program for me this is the start for my future, my family.
I have a stable job soon when I get outside, and for my kids also, for them to have a bright future.
Out of nowhere, out of the blue, it came without our expectations. So it will help me by means of facing the real fight for life outside. So it will be my weapon.
We are proud that yes, we've been there, but we graduated and we passed. We surpassed all the trials and the struggle or obstacle we overcome. So, chin up, proud to be.
I portray myself as a fish in the sea, and the sea is the the life that I am in. There is a strong currency, but still, as like a fish, I'm still swimming until I can survive. Because I know that at the end of all of this, there is God that will say, hello, you're done with your trials. Congratulations, you deserve to be happy like that.
One of the students I had, he passed the exam, and he'd been here for 9 years. But then, like, I was 1 week before we started school. He came, he said, sir, I cannot continue to schooling. I say, why? Because he said, sir, I will be free after 9 years. But then he says, sir, where were you before? He said, I've spent 9 years doing nothing. Nothing.